What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be putting some front brake pads on a 2014 Ram 1500 four-wheel drive. These are some of the things you'll need. I'll go over them real quick. Pretty much going to be the same on any vehicle with the exception of maybe a socket size for whatever size your caliper bolts are. Brake pads, of course, brake lubricant. These will go on all your contact points. We'll go over that a little later. Some gloves, sockets of course, and a ratchet. Jack stand in case your jack gives out. This keeps the vehicle from falling on you or hitting the ground where you can't get it back up. Brake fluid in case you need to top it off. Brake cleaner in case you need to clean anything as far as the caliper goes or around the rotor. On my truck, on this vehicle, it's got a lock and lug, so you have to have the key. Make sure you have that if you have lock and lug nuts. Four-way to take your lug nuts off, and of course a jack. So that's pretty much it. We'll get to it. All right guys, we're back. When putting your jack under the vehicle, try to get as close to the tire that you're working on that picks that end up first. Slide your jack under, get up under your frame, lift the vehicle up, make sure to scotch your back tire. I've already done that. Stop before you get the tire completely off the ground so you can loosen the lug nuts. Jack stand also goes under the frame. Once you got your jack under the vehicle and you have started jacking it up, before the tire gets all the way off the ground, loosen your lug nuts. Mine has a lock and lug nut. So this is my lock and lug nut. This is the key. Key fits in it. That'll be the last one I take off. Alright guys, this is what a lock and lug nut looks like, just in case you're wondering. That's what the key fits. Once you got all your lug nuts off, it's time to jack the vehicle up and get the tire off. Alright guys, we got the tire off. It's time to take the caliper off. On this truck, they're 13 millimeter. You got a bolt at the top and the bottom. Just remove those. I removed both of mine. Some people just remove the top one and swing it down, but my brake line's a little too tight for that. One bolt. And the second bolt. Alright, sometimes your caliper will be squeezed against your rotor a little bit. Take you a flat blade screwdriver, stick it in between the pad and the rotor, push it back, and it'll give you a little bit of room to get your caliper off. Alright, caliper should come off. What it's doing here is your caliper is squeezed against the brake pad, so it's got tension on it. This right here, sticking it screwdriver in the slot and pry against it, and it'll push your piston back in and give you some room to work. Alright, there you go. This is your caliper. These are the pistons. They push your brake pads against the rotor. Set it up here where it won't fall. Alright, take your pads off, inspect them. Mine are wore pretty good. These are your wear indicators. Go on the end of your pad, that little end sticking out there. Once your pad gets to a certain thickness, it'll rub against your rotor, and that's what you'll hear squeaking. Take those off because we'll reuse those. Back pad, same thing. My new pads didn't come with the wear indicator, so we'll reuse these. This is a good time to inspect your rotor also. You're going to look for grooves or deep cuts. Mine are starting to show wear, but they have no deep cuts, so they'll definitely need to be replaced next time, but they should be good until then. Here's a comparison. This is the new pad. See how thick it is compared to the old one. That just shows you how much wear you can get out of a pad. That's pretty close to being almost to the metal. There's the new one more time. Alright, you're gonna put your wear indicators back on, and also you'll notice the pad is shaped just like the rotor, so that's how you know which side you're going on with the pad. Wear indicator towards the rotor, top and bottom. The little tab there goes towards the rotor. Put the back one on first. It doesn't really matter. Just slip into place. Just like that. Alright guys, I am going to use the brake cleaner to clean a little bit of this dust out of this caliper. Okay. This is the lubricant I showed you earlier. This goes to all your contact points, so anywhere your caliper makes contact with a pad or the bracket for the caliper, I use a little bit. Some people don't. I like to use it. I basically eyeball everywhere the caliper is going to touch the pad. I also put a little bit on the bolts. This is one tool I forgot to get out and one tool I forgot to show you. This is a caliper tool. It's used to compress your pistons so you can you push them in so you have room to fit over the new brake pads. I use an old pad, put it against the pistons, put the tool in place, start screwing it out, and it'll slowly push the piston in to give you room to go over your new brake pads. I'll put a link to all these tools and this caliper tool in the description. alternate back and forth. If you don't, you'll push one in further than the other, kind of like I did here. I've also taken the cap off my brake fluid reservoir. As your pads wear, the fluid in your reservoir goes down to push your brake pads to your rotor. So if you keep an eye on that and you top it off as you notice it getting low, when you push this in, it's going to overfill the reservoir. So sometimes it's good just to go ahead and remove the top. I'll show you that in a few minutes as well. All this is doing is pushing the piston back in the caliper. I push mine all the way back in to know I have enough room. Alright, that should do it. So now we'll put the caliper back on. These tabs right here, when you take the caliper off, they'll push out, so you have to push them back in to get your caliper back on. Alright, time to put the bolts back in. Let's hand start them at first. Sometimes you have to move the caliper up and down to get the bolt holes to line up. Alright, once they're hand tight, just tighten them up with your ratchet. Make sure they're tight. Alright, brake pads are on, driver's side. So now put your tire back on, do the passenger side. Alright guys, one more thing. When you're putting your tire back on, tighten your lug nuts in a star pattern. That way it pulls them back together evenly. Snug them up. Let your jack down a little bit till you get some pressure on your tire. Finish torquing them down. Alright, let your jack down, get some pressure on it so you can tighten them up. Try to tighten them up in the same way, star pattern. Alright, that's all it is too. Let your jack down and you're good to go. Alright, last step guys, check your brake fluid once you get done. Once you get everything buttoned up and you're done with your brake, installing your pads, you want to check your fluid. This is the cap I told you I removed early on. If you do happen to have it overfilled and you need to pull something out, I got this big syringe that you can put like a little hose on and stick it down there and pull some out if you need to. I don't add to mine throughout the year, so mine's good. It also tells you on the cap what type of fluid you need. So mine is .3. Yours may be .4. Most of the time it is .3. Some European cars take .4, but just look at your cap and make sure that you're using the right brake fluid if you do have to add to it. Once you do that, get in, pump your brakes, make sure your brake pedal feels good, check your fluid again, and then you're ready to hit the road. Thank you guys for watching. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. That's how you install brake pads on a 2014 Ram 1500. As you can see, I'm no professional. The purpose of my videos is to just show you guys that you can do things like this in your driveway, save yourself a few $100, or teach your kids how to do something like this. I teach mine as well. Something like this cost me 31 bucks. If you took this somewhere, it may cost you $300-400 bucks. So you can do things like this. As you can see, I'm in my driveway. You may hear my neighbors in the background playing with their kids or cars riding by, and I'm still new to making these videos and trying to be better at that. But purpose is to show you guys that you can do this and save money and spend it on other things that you like, you know, fishing or other hobbies or whatever, hunting. Whatever you like to do, you can save money, man, and do this stuff on your own. It's not hard, and that's the purpose of these videos I'm making, and I hope you learned something from it. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment or email me, whatever you want to do, and I'll help as much as I can. Thanks, guys.